The sun is shining, the plants are blooming. I don't know if there's some sort of allergy season here, but I woke up sneezing, so maybe that's happening. I know when I get home to Idaho, I always have allergies this time of year. Headed into the courthouse, it's day 7, Lori Vallow Daybell's trial, and it is very possible that the state rests today. Trina Kay has said that they plan to either rest, well, originally she said tomorrow, possibly Monday, but then yesterday she said they could rest today. They have 3 witnesses to go through. Officer Hunsaker, I believe that's his name, sorry if it's not, Detective Duncan, and Detective Moffat. Both of them will be on the stand probably today, at least going into tomorrow. The timing, of course, will depend on how many questions Lori Vallow Daybell has for these witnesses. And hopefully Detective Duncan is feeling better. He was supposed to testify yesterday afternoon, but got sick. He had been sick the day before too and didn't come to court. And so if he's better, he will likely be on the stand today. And then the prosecution will rest. Good morning, everybody. Great to see where you're all watching from. Holy smokes, all over the place. South Africa. Wow, Heather, thank you very much for sending me lunch money. I appreciate that. Here's what we've got after the prosecution rests. A lot of question marks because Lori Vallow Daybell is quickly losing witnesses. There are witnesses that haven't been served subpoenas. There are witnesses that don't know why in the world they're being called to be a witness. And there are witnesses who probably don't even know that they're a witness. And so the judge is trying to hash all this out with her and saying, you know, what are we going to do here? So I imagine there will be more discussion of that today. And we'll see if the bottom line is that Lori Vallow Daybell and her team filed their witness list late anyway. So even if the judge is like, okay, we can have so testify or whatever, Summer Shiflett or Janice Cox, your mom, or Barry Cox, prosecution's going to argue, Your Honor, they filed their list late. They shouldn't be allowed in. So we'll see where that goes. It very well could come down to the fact that she has no witnesses or 1 or 2 witnesses and her. And then the question is, does she testify? And we've talked about this a lot this past week. That's the big question is she going to take the stand? If she does, how it will work is she will have pre-written questions, and those questions will be given to her paralegal or her advisory counsel, and they will ask her those questions. And she can't just give a soliloquy. She can't just get up there and give a monologue. She's got to actually answer the questions. And then that opens a big wide door of the prosecutor asking her questions. Scotland and Canada, Pennsylvania, good to see you. So then does she say, well, forget it, I'm not going to testify, and I'll just rely on my closing argument? She could do that, but remember, closing argument is not evidence. Opening statement is not evidence. You actually have to have evidence and witnesses. So while the jury becomes aware of what is said during the openings and the closings, they're not supposed to use that information as evidence. So does she, take the stand and say all? I learned while I've been here covering this that when Jodi Arias, when her trial was going on in the courtroom right across the hall from where Lori's on trial right now, Jodi Arias was on the stand 18 days. 18 days, 3 weeks. Can you imagine that? If Lori Vallow took the stand for 18 days, that's just mind-blowing. And there was, back and forth. And then after, so let's say Lori takes the stand or doesn't take the stand. If she doesn't take the stand and there's no witnesses, she could very well say, like she did in Idaho, Your Honor, we don't feel the state has proven their case, we rest. And then we go into closing arguments. If she presents a few witnesses, the state can call rebuttal witnesses to rebut what the defense witnesses may have said. That happened in Chad Daybell's trial. Remember that? For instance, one of the rebuttal witnesses testified that Garth Daybell what Garth Daybell told him while they were working together at the haunted house about Tammy Daybell's death. It was just a fairly short testimony, but an impactful testimony and a memorable testimony. So that's where it will go, and then the jury will go deliberate. I don't see the jury here deliberating for a week or two. However, I say that, all it takes is one juror to be like, maybe she had a point, or maybe I'm hung up on this thing. The issue with this case is there's one charge. It's not like they're arguing over 7 charges or 10 charges. It's one charge. Did Lori Vallow conspire with Alex Cox and maybe another co-conspirator, but with Alex Cox? I'm just paraphrasing, by the way, not reading the charge here. Did they conspire? Did she conspire to kill her 4th husband? Does the evidence show that you have seen over the past 7, 8, 9 days, jury, that they conspired to kill him? Whether for financial reasons or others, to be with Chad Daybell, did they prove the case? And then the jury will come back with a verdict. So we could have that verdict in an hour. I don't think we'll have it in a week. That's too long. And then I think that the case will wrap up. And then we go straight into the next trial in about a week. Not a week, about a month. The trial for Brandon Boudreau's case. He is Lori Vallow Daybell's nephew, former nephew-in-law, married to Melanie, who was shot at on his way home from the gym back in October of 2019. First weekend, I believe, or first week. And that trial, jury selection is going to be the end of May, with opening statements, I believe, June 1st or 2nd, that Monday. So I'm going to sit down here for a minute. My arm's getting a little tired. So I'll be here back here in Arizona for that. All right, so that's what's happening here. Do you have any questions? What time does the trial start today? It starts at 10 a.m. It starts at 10:30. It's been starting at 10 this week, but today it's 10:30 Arizona time. So to break it all down, that's the same as the Pacific time zone during the summer. So 10:30, 11:30 Mountain, 12:30 Central, 1:30 Eastern. And if you type that into the Google, you'll find out wherever you are in the world what time it starts for you. And then, of course, our video stream will start 30 minutes late. I do want to apologize for the technical difficulties we had yesterday during the stream. We, before the trial, got brand new internet at our newsroom that promised no disruption, promised no issues, nothing. And that's all we've had since the trial started. But yesterday, our small team, Dave and Jordan, shout out to you, did a major overhaul of all of our technical equipment. They did tests all night long. You may have seen some of those tests. And they have assured me that today it's going to be the best stream ever. So apologize yesterday if you were having issues watching, but today, no issues. So you can watch here. Peggy will be in the comment queue. You guys can chat. I love that you all are chatting. And the stream, so I say all that to let you know that the live stream will start at 11 Arizona time, 12 Mountain, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Got all that? Okay. Okay, let me see what other questions you have. Oh, thank you for watching us on your phone and Court TV on your computer. Awesome, that's great. Peggy, yes, we love Peggy. Will Lori return to Idaho after the Arizona sentences? She will, and I think they'll move her pretty quick. Based on, when Lori was sentenced in Idaho, she was, for Vallow Daybell? South Tower's right there. Yep. Already people lining up here. So yes, after Lori was sentenced in Boise, they moved her that night back to the Madison. Well, sorry, she was found guilty in Ada County. They moved her that night back to Rexburg, where she stayed in the Madison County Jail. And then after the Madison County Jail, after she was sentenced to life in prison, 3 counts in Fremont County, they moved her to the prison that week. Morning. Seeing our regular court attendees here showing up. So they moved her fast. They will keep her here after this trial because she has the other one, and then she'll need to stick around here for sentencing. And after she is officially sentenced here, yes, she goes back to Idaho, where she will stay until the forever, because she's sentenced to life in prison there. Thanks for all your coverage. I've been watching you from Hawaii. Nate, how's your family doing? They're doing great. They're really excited. I'm going home for Easter weekend tomorrow night, so we're excited to be reunited again. What happens if a witness is sick? Well, they move the schedule around for other witnesses. We had a sick witness yesterday, and they couldn't really adjust things, and they just ended court early. Sometimes judges get sick, sometimes prosecutors and defendants get sick, and they cancel court for the day. I know they hate to do it because jurors are kind of inconvenienced. Although I will say, I think sometimes it's a nice break for the jury. I know it's a nice break for us personally, because sometimes those court days go long, and so on a short day you can get your news gathering together, but then again it also drags it out. And that's what's going to happen in June with Brandon Boudreau's case. We have the first week and a half of June is the trial, and then there's like a week that's dark because there's judicial conferences in Arizona that the judges and the attorneys have to go to, and then after that we're back in court for like 3 days, and then 4 days, and then it's the 4th of July. So it's basically going to run the week of Memorial Day until July 4th. It'll be broken up and things like that. Were JJ and Tylee put to rest? Did they have a service? Good question, Heather. They were both of their remains were cremated. Colby has their remains, and I know Larry and Kay have some of JJ's remains, and I believe that there was a memorial service that Larry and Kay held in Idaho for the children, and I think that the families have done some private things, and I truly think there's been a lot of talk about, maybe more public ceremonies, whatever, maybe once these trials are done, but that's where we're at. Seems like Lori will be appealing her Idaho sentence. Will you be covering that? She's already appealing it. The appellate process is, I don't want to say quite dry. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that attorneys do on paper. It's not like they hold these hearings like they have on the other things. Basically what will happen is her attorney will work for years, most likely, to prepare an appeal, and will submit it, and it will likely work up to the Idaho Supreme Court, who then there may be a verbal hearing for that, which Lori wouldn't attend, most likely. Her attorney would attend and get like 20 or 30 minutes to present the case, and then the Attorney General, who would represent the state of Idaho, would give 20, 30 minutes to present their case, and then the Supreme Court would issue a ruling later in writing and say appeal denied, appeal overturned, or appeal granted. Now, should the appeal be granted, that's big news, because then it goes back to trial. And then you could say, if it's thrown out an appeal in Idaho, let's say, then she's released from prison, but then they'd have to bring her back here, assuming if she is found guilty, to serve her time here to go back. So it's a little messy. And then Chad Daybell is an automatic appeal because he's on death row, and so we'll see with that. Can Lori receive money in jail from Social Security? No. No, that was cut off once they found out Lori was on the run. She doesn't get any money. Now, she does get money for commissary that her family might send her, or that I know some of you I've talked to that have sent her money to help with her get snacks or food or whatever, M&Ms. In fact, some of you I know are sending her clothes for the court. She's coordinated with some of you, and we can get into that another time maybe. My eyes look so tired in this shot. I look exhausted. I kind of am. I don't sleep well in hotel rooms, especially when I'm not with my family. And then when my family is with me in a hotel room, none of us sleep because everybody's so loud, and little kids, you know how it is. Yes, shout out to my family. They're doing great, and it will be good to see them. Let's see, what else do we have? Who is helping her? Well, she has a paralegal, she has 2 attorneys, and she has a private investigator. And it seems most days her paralegal is the one that's sitting right next to her versus the other 2 attorneys who sit behind her. And read into that what you will, I don't know. Who would send money? You know, there's just people that do. There's just people that do. It's, you know how it is. People, I was listening to a podcast about how people are obsessed with Luigi Mangione in New York. Like, he has women and men trying to send money, letters. They're just obsessed with him. I think that people just become fascinated by criminals. Does she still have her $2 million life insurance policy? That is a good question. I don't know if we ever saw any evidence of that policy. I'm sure it's still out there. I don't know what happens when you're a prisoner and charged with felonies. If like there's something in the contract that it becomes null and void. Those of you who work in insurance, let me know, because that'd be interesting. Same with Brian Kohberger. Yeah, there are people that like Kohberger, and many of you are saying, am I going to be going to that one? I will be going to that one. I don't know if I'll be there the entire time. There's a couple things that I have scheduled in the fall. Like CrimeCon, which is the first week of September, which I can officially announce because I told them yesterday officially that I'll go there. And we're probably going to do something with Daybell. I don't know what or who, we're still planning it, but that's all I can say for now. And then I have another session that I'm really excited about, and I can't say anything more. But if you go to CrimeCon, you can use the code Eaton, E-A-T-O-N, and you get 10% off a standard badge. And I'd love to meet you if you haven't been. If you don't pay the premium, the policy lapses. Duh, I should have known that. You're right, yeah. If you're not paying your premium on the life insurance policy, it gets canceled. Like I pay every month on my life insurance policy, so I'm sure no one's paying Lori's $2 million life insurance policy. Good question, thanks for pointing that out. I know CrimeCon can be expensive. It can be, if you're into true crime and you have the money and you can get there, it's fascinating. I think you'd like it, but I understand that, it can be pricey for everybody. And I don't work for CrimeCon. They're not my employee, but I've done a couple things for them over the years, and it's been a really fascinating experience. And I've met so many of you and so many awesome people. Tell us the secret, please. I will when I can. I think you mean the secret about CrimeCon. It's actually CrimeCon will announce it when they're ready to do it. But it's exciting. Has anyone started building on the ex-Daybell property? No. They tore down the home. They tore down the buildings that were there on the property, and they plan to turn it into an area for like peace and healing. And maybe they won't build anything. I don't know. I know there's new owners that own it. It's a nonprofit, and they want to be anonymous. And they tore everything down back in October. And if you drive out there, it looks different. I mean, you wouldn't even know you were there at the house if you're used to driving by it all the time, because it's just an empty field basically now. I didn't know you were live. Yes, I'm live. I'm real. I promise. I mean, look, I have bags to prove it. Oh, thank you. Tangling with Gina. Your birthday, that's nice, thank you. And CrimeCon is your birthday weekend, thank you. Why haven't the videos of Charles been shown to the court, the jury? That's a good question. Maybe they will be. Maybe they will be today. We'll see. If those videos are shown, then you probably have to call the officers that he was talking to the stand. And this is one of those cases like in Idaho where they have a lot of evidence and you have to bring in your strongest stuff. For instance, in Idaho, they did not bring in the security camera footage from the storage unit when Lori and Chad and Alex went to store all the kids' belongings. I thought for sure that would have been brought in. And one of the reasons I asked the prosecutor after is, why didn't you bring it in? He said, well, we couldn't really enhance it. So there could have been a question of, was that really Lori? How do you know 100% that's Lori? I mean, she owned the unit, she had signed the contract, but there are still questions with that. So we'll see what type of evidence comes in today and tomorrow. If text messages will come in, things like that, we don't really know. Oh yeah, the funeral home too, that Chad Daybell called here in Arizona to talk about his uncle. His uncle, there's two birds that are fighting over some food. Can you hear that? Is Kay showing up at court every day? She is, yeah, for the most part. She is, yes, except on the days where like the autopsy photos were shown. She did not stick around for that. So, but she has been here. Caitlin, thanks for the little cute emoji, dude. Is that what you call it? Cute little animal. Okay, guys, I think I've been going on 20 minutes here. I'm outside the courthouse. We still have 2 hours till it starts, but I better get inside and get my seat. It has been filling up. I know you all have been coming out. Toucan Chaos, what is that? A hippo? Epic fail. Thank you. Is that a hippo? Is Larry okay? Yes, I interviewed Larry last week, and he is just home in Louisiana. He said life goes on. They're raising 2 of their grandchildren. They're getting ready to move back into their house. that was destroyed by the hurricane years ago in the middle of all this. They've had quite a 5 years. But yeah, he's watching from what he tells me and just living his life. He says he will be out here at one point. So maybe he'll be out here for the verdict, or maybe he'll come out for the next one for Brandon's case. But yeah, that's where Kay's husband is. Is Melanie Gibb testifying? No, she's not. She's not on the witness list. Maybe she'll testify in Brandon's, but she has not been testifying there. What happens if the police witness is still sick? Well, we wait. They probably call their other 2 witnesses, and then maybe the police witness, Officer Duncan, takes the stand tomorrow. And then if he's not better by then, next week. You know, it's all there. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like my shirt. It's I don't know where I got this shirt from. I went over the weekend to the outlet mall. There's a nice outlet mall near here. There's several, actually. You know, in Idaho Falls, we don't have much shopping. My wife says that all the time. We have to go out of town to like actually get, I'm not too picky on my clothes, but Volcom was going out of business. And so they had a bunch of like dress pants for 80% off. So I got these for like $10, and I am all about a bargain shop. Christian Henry, thank you. You just paid for my pants. So anyway, what do they call it? A fit check? I can't believe I'm doing a fit check. My Emmy's gonna be like, what the heck? Is Lori poisoning Moffat? No, I don't have any bamboo clothes. You guys are funny. I don't have bamboo clothes. I have not had green chili enchiladas lately. I don't even really like enchiladas. And what was the other thing? I think those were the 2 big ones. Yeah. Okay. Oh, nonchalant. Would you describe me as nonchalant? I don't know. Why didn't Lori call Chad? That would have been great. Oh, Burger King. Yes. The water, the bottled water, apple juice. Yeah. All right. Everybody, don't flatter yourself. Have a great day. I'll be on at lunch chit-chatting with you. And somebody said you missed the fit check. You didn't miss anything, I promise. There you go. There's my shirt and my pants and my shoes. My outfit is probably worth $30. Believe me, I'm not much on. I get dressed. If it was up to me, my wife tells me all the time, I'd be in flip-flops, and I don't say that just because of this trial, by the way. Flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt. And normally it's like an East Idaho News t-shirt, which if you haven't ordered, we still have some. And when I get back to Idaho in about probably a week or 2, we have a bunch of t-shirts that I'm willing to sign if you want them signed, and our team can sign them, and we'll send them directly to you. So I know many of you have asked about that and you're waiting for that. So you can order now at eastidahonews.com/shop. But if you do that, I can't sign those because that comes from a third party. I'm talking too long. Okay, everybody, let me show you real quick. The courthouse. See this? This is the South Tower. If you come to court, go to South Tower. Don't go to the other buildings that are listed on the website where they say Lori's trial is being held, because you will get lost, as many of you have gotten lost. You want to go to the South Tower. And this is, I believe, see, it's a big tower on the south. Imagine that. They could have called it the South Brown Tower to be more descriptive, but they didn't. Okay, everybody, have a good day. I'm going to log off so I can go through security. Bye.